Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take. How your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Here's one that I really like. National Night Out Day. So I enjoy this one. I always look to see where there is a national night out in our area. National Night Out is generally where you go to various restaurants, participating restaurants, and they basically promote police community partnerships across the country. Event focuses on community and raising awareness through camaraderie by improving area relationships. The hope is to make our neighborhoods safer. National Night Out is tonight. Wonder if they're going to have that over at Marino's. If you haven't been to Marino's, they make some of the best tacos for Taco Tuesday. And I'm just throw that out there. It is their tacos are so good and they're cheap. Josh, have you ever gone to Marino's over there in Orange? $2.89 for a taco, and I can only eat one. And you can't beat that. Go and buy a handful of them, and we kind of heat them up and good stuff. It's also National Oyster Day. Now, it is fascinating, and I don't know if you've ever read anything about oysters or if you're into oysters. I'm not a big fan. I know I've got some friends that are more fans of them, and they understand all these different types of oysters. I guess there's like 100 different species, and they take on the flavor of the water they're in. So there's certain areas I don't think you want to be tasting what's in that water. Just throw that out there for you. But they're high in vitamins B12 and A, benefit heart, skin, and brain health, support lung and kidney function. They benefit the environment. I guess it's pretty good there. Chesapeake Bay produces more oysters in the world than any other body of water. 2 billion pounds of oysters each year around. Okay, I'm not much of an oyster guy, so I guess I can just tell you what the notes say. Are you an oyster person? Josh, you're an oyster guy? Do you like big ones or small ones? What's your the bigger ones, huh? Okay. I know some people like, do they taste? I've never noticed where they taste like a whole heck of a lot other than the sauce you put on them. So okay, I'll go with it. Whatever. Okay, let's see what the markets are doing today. That's what we're here for. We're watching all of the markets. Let's see. We're going to start off with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 38.63. The S&P 500 is down 18.67. NASDAQ is down 93.49. Wow. And I'm looking at oil down 73 cents a barrel. Do we even want to look at what's going on in oil prices? Well, $4.50 a gallon here in the formerly Golden State, still higher than even Hawaii. Hawaii is cheaper, although we're getting closer to Washington. I don't know. Washington must look like they're price fixing or something. They're still sticking right around 439, where we've been coming down a little bit here in California. About time. It's we're paying way too much money in California because they claim it's for the environmental issues. So does that mean you can pay your way to get a cheaper environment? I guess in this world they try to, although, with the EV mandates going away, it may not help. 316 is the national average for a gallon of gasoline. A month ago, gas prices were $4.55. Now we're looking at $4.50. Yesterday we were at $4.49. So we're going up just a little bit, but not too much, not enough to really even worry about. So as the oil prices go down on the world market, 65.54 right now. If you remember when we were talking about this, last week, I guess, oil prices were in the $70 a barrel range. So doing a little bit better off there, as are a lot of other economic numbers from the standpoint of us being contrarians. Why do I say we're contrarians? Well, when you're looking at the bond market, when we're looking at the markets here in California and looking for interest rates, mortgage rates, when the stock market goes up, usually the bonds will go up, but the yields go down. So we're always watching that because we want to see interest rates go down. They are artificially being kept high because of bogus rates. And if you, we didn't do a broadcast last Friday. So one of the things we should talk about is that bogus number that came out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Good morning, Travis. Glad to see you, buddy. So I've been saying over and over again that the numbers coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they are the BS report. And last Friday, they proved our point. So we came in with, weak numbers on the current month, but the revisions to the prior month and the month before that were massive. And when we start seeing those massive revisions, and if you didn't catch that, we did share a special mortgage market, a market minute. And Josh, do we have that in our household board of directors site? I think we've got that in the board of directors. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. Also, if you are not getting our weekend update, we put out a weekend update each week. Just send a message, smoke signal, direct message. You can send that to rj@ronsiegelradio.com. We'll get you on our list for the weekend update, where we put out there what's gone on in the week and what we might be looking at on the week ahead, the week going forward, as to what the markets are showing and what we'll be watching going forward. It's great information if you are a real estate professional, if you're a financial professional, if you're somebody that just wants to be informed. We put that out each week to try and keep you, our listeners and our audience, informed of what's going on in the world, what's going on in the markets, because that's our job. So we did see that BS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out, and once again, it was wrong. It's always wrong, which is what's so frustrating about it. Now, I would not say that it's manipulated. I know the president is saying that they manipulate the data. I don't know about that, but I would say this. I served on the economic forecast at Chapman College before it was a university back in the early 80s. And, we're always trying to make sure that the numbers were always as accurate as possible. When you start getting a report that's having to be revised as much as the report is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you start saying, okay, maybe we need to change some of the methodology. Maybe the numbers we're coming up with are not as strong as we think, and we need to change. Now, change is not bad when you're trying to get the numbers more accurate. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, get this one. I just learned this in the last few days. You know how the Bureau of Labor Statistics collects their data? They send out a fax to companies to get the information they need. A fax. Does anybody still use fax machines? I know we have it here at Ron Siegel Radio, but it goes right into our computer. It's not one of the first things you check. So why hasn't the Bureau of Labor Statistics gone to a survey? Maybe they can go to SurveyMonkey and get a better job done, or any of those other methods to try and get the data they need. Now, I know that the even as weak as the number was this last Bureau jobs report, it's going to be revised even lower because they said the birth death model came up with an addition of 247,000 jobs. 247,000 jobs.
You know better than that.
Now, ADP came out and said that we didn't have anywhere close to that. So that's going to get revised downward. And eventually, and what I started with here was the whole concept that the person who's in charge of this Bureau of Labor Statistics, well, the issue becomes you got to get somebody new. If they can't get the job done right, get somebody in there who can do the job right. And Maria, I think that's important information you've got right there. We're on a fixed income, worrying about the price of everything. It's all because of price of tariffs. It was correct, and it's because of Trump's tariffs. So I don't know what was correct. The report that they just revised saying that they did it wrong, or the fact that tariffs are showing that they've added less than 1% to the 14% of our economy that's imported. So we got a very, very small portion of our economy that's imported. So I'm not exactly sure where the tariffs are affecting anything. You look at our numbers. GDP is down at about 1.2% if you average it over the last 6 months. So that's a big question mark. You look at our PCE, the personal consumption expenditures, 2.8%. I think it was the last number that came out as far as inflation. And of that, a huge portion of it is housing. Now, I'm going to submit that there's a lot of companies out there that are raising prices and using tariffs as an excuse, because we're seeing that in the numbers, if you look at the wholesale numbers, they're not coming in higher. So I'm a data guy. I mean, you can have opinions. Everyone has one. But if you've got some data on there to prove that point, love to see it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the truth about down payments, it's not what you think. 25 smart ways to save money in 2025. And 3 advantages of buying a newly built home today. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 0186945. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990 and every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to figure out what your principal and interest payment will be. Let's see what the rate. Whoa, look at most of the rates they're down yesterday. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.615. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.685. FHA 30-year fix, 6.382. VA 30-year fixed, 6.144. All of those were down. The only one that was up was the USDA 30-year fix, 6.434. That one was the only one out of the entire list that was up. Let's see what's going on with the markets today. So if we look at the markets right now, the S&P 500 is down 1892. The 10-year Treasury is up 1 basis point, 4.205, and the mortgage bond is down 2 basis points. So basically that tells us absolutely nothing is going on in those markets right now. Not a problem. So yesterday, there were quite a few of us that are in the same boat. Kind of don't have a problem with Trump's policies. I have a problem with his commentary. So criticized the head of the BLS, fired the head of the BLS. And, you know, the president said the numbers were tapered with. I don't think that's a good way of dealing with it. I don't even know that the head of the BLS has the ability of tampering with the numbers. But again, as I mentioned earlier, you know, the head of any organization, if the organization can't get their job done right, they should have either been modifying the way it was being done to get more accurate, or you got to get somebody in there who knows what they're doing. Like I said, when I was on the forecast staff at Chapman, we always wanted to have the most accurate forecast possible. Now, when you've got a number that's as important as the jobs report that comes out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's a very, very important number. And that's a very, very important issue. And I'm going to submit that the number has to be right. How do you think that people are able to make business decisions if they don't have accurate data? So they got to get someone in there. So I don't really like the commentary. I have no problem with what the president did. The next thing, the president said on CNBC this morning that he's got 4 good candidates. We've talked to you about Kevin Warsh. We've talked to you about Kevin Hassett. President said that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is no longer in the running as he wants to stay in his position and doing a good job. Trump did address Fed Governor Kugler stepping down early, said that he would soon announce a replacement for the next 4 months. And a good deal right there. That's some good information that we appreciate. We got a report from Cotality. Cotality reported that home prices rose 0.1% in June, which was much weaker than what they predicted and was normally seen during that time of year. It's actually the lowest June reading since 2008. Cotality is forecasting that home prices rose 0.5% in July and that they're going to rise 4.2% in the year going forward. So what does that equate? How do we interpret that? They must believe interest rates are going to fall, which will increase activity and put upward pricing pressure on home values. Make sure that you quantify that. We all talk about the idea, 4% expected appreciation. So when you hear people saying their home prices are going down, that's not what the market is telling us. Realtor.com released some new data showing that inventory levels have been rising. This, along with higher rates, are some likely causes for slower appreciation, but inventory levels have been rising unevenly across the country. Overall active listings are up 25% year over year, but they're still down 11% from pre-pandemic levels. And over that time, the population has grown by 12 million people. Most of the inventory has been in states like Texas and Florida, which represents 30% of total active listings. States with higher inventory levels compared to pre-pandemic are seeing the most pricing pressure. But many states in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are experiencing 40 to 60% lower inventory levels than pre-pandemic, and there is still stronger appreciation there. Median listing price. That's what you're going to hear reported. And it means absolutely nothing. It's flat since mid-2022. You got to remember that is skewed by the mix of sales and is in the middle of price homes sold. So you have to look at exactly 50% of the prices are above the median and 50% of the homes are below the median. Take whatever that middle number is, and that's what median price is. So if you get a lot more homes on the lower end, that's going to give you that answer. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So one of the things that we're coming out with, and it's something that we really we're going to be emphasizing, and we'll be sharing this on social media in the very near future, is our second look advantage. So we've talked to you a little bit about the second look advantage, and we're going to be doing more and more of that. But if you're looking at home prices, and there's a lot of places, and here the one that's the real big one is when we talk about the big banks. And pet peeve of mine is a lot of big banks, they're good, but they don't tell you the whole story. Basically, what happens with the big banks is they only look at their own inventory of what they're selling. Now, as a mortgage broker, what do? We are your personal shoppers. So I saw something that one of the mortgage companies has a special going right now for purchases. Another one has a special going for FHA loans. You got to understand that all of them, they price to what they want. So if they need more inventory, they need more to go in their bundle of FHA loans, they're going to be more aggressive in the pricing of that than what they might be in conventional loans that they've got an abundance of. The mortgage banker is the one that's responsible for looking at that. So the second look advantage, we check if you're getting the absolute best deal possible. We want to make sure it's in alignment with your short and long-term financial goals. Now, if you're saying, okay, I'm going to be here for a year, well, you might want a higher interest rate and get some of the costs covered for you. If you've got a long-term horizon, well, then you might want to go the other way around. If you're working with a realtor and you can get the seller to cover some of your closing costs and maybe buy down the interest rate, that's a whole another strategy. And I've shared this with you many, many times. Strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. So what we want to know is, are you getting the best strategy? And here's the kicker to it. If you send us your loan estimate, send us that purchase contract, we'll take a look at it and tell you, are you getting the best deal? Or is there something that might be a little bit better for you? I am so confident in our team that if we cannot improve what you're doing, improve what you have offered, we're going to send you a $100 Amazon gift card just for letting us take a look. $100 Amazon gift card just for letting us take a look if we cannot improve what you're being offered. So that is the second look advantage. All you have to do is go to rsrlinks.com/second look, rsrlinks.com/second look. And we will have a website being put up for the second look advantage very soon. And you'll start seeing us promoting that on social media. There's a lot going on. And we want to make sure that when you're talking about your house, it is a major, major investment. And I don't care whether you're talking about a $150,000 mobile home or a $2 million estate, whatever that is, that's your castle. And you just need to understand all of these things. Now, there are all kinds of strategies out there for you. One of the strategies, okay, obviously, if you're looking at buying a house, you got to have our home buyer's guide, rsrlinks.com/HBG. Got to have it. If you want to know what your house is worth, rsrlinks.com/homewealth, rsrlinks.com/homewealth. That'll tell you what your home is worth. So all of these things are out there, and we just redid this one just recently, and I'm not even sure if it's up yet. But if you're still renting, now is the time to consider that purchase. Why? because interest rates have not come down as much as they're going to. Go to rsrlinks.com/RVO. rsrlinks.com/RVO. Why do you need to do that right now? Because when interest rates do start coming down, I don't know whether it's going to be 6 months or 12 months from now. When they come down, home prices, if they follow history, they're going to go up even further. So you're going to take an advantage of having appreciation, which we love, and then you can lower your mortgage rate on your existing property so you're not moving. You're just getting a lower payment, and you're going to do that based on the higher valuation of your property. Again, I can't guarantee it, but I do know that if history repeats itself, that's what's going to happen. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the truth about down payments, it's not what you think, 25 smart ways to save money, and 3 advantages of buying a newly built home today. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. The truth about down payments, it's not what you think. Buying a home is exciting until you start thinking about the down payment. That's when the worry can set in. I'll never save enough. I need a small fortune just to get started. I guess I'll just rent forever. Sound familiar? You're not alone. You're definitely not out of luck. Here's the thing. A lot of what you've heard about down payments just isn't true. And once you know the facts, you might realize you're a lot closer to owning a home than you think. Let's break it all down and bust some big down payment myths while we're at it. Myth number 1, I need to come up with a big down payment. This one stops a lot of people in their tracks. A recent poll from Morning Consult and Neighbor Works shows 70% of Americans think they need to put at least 10% down to buy a home, and 11% aren't sure what's required at all. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing that myth number 1. Yeah, 70% of Americans think they need to put at least 10% down to buy a home. Not quite the case. The truth, according to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, the typical down payment for first-time buyers has been between 6 and 9% since 2018, but there's more to the story. If you qualify for an FHA loan, you may only need to put 3.5% down. And veterans, the VA loans, typically don't require a down payment at all. So there are options out there that can really make a difference for some buyers. I'll take myth number 2. It'll take forever to save up for a down payment. Sure, saving can take time, but it may not have to be as long as you think. In many states, reaching your goal can happen faster than you might expect, especially when you know your budget and have a clear savings plan. According to a new study, the amount of time varies depending on where you live. The map that we have on the chart now showing on average how many years it takes to save up for a 10% down payment based on typical home values and income levels in each state. And again, you're seeing that chart right there on the screen. Saving for a home may not take as long as you think. Time it takes the average income earner to save for a 10% down payment on a median priced home. But remember, in most cases, you won't even need a down payment as large as 10%. Plus, no matter how much money you end up putting down, it won't all have to come out of your pocket. Remember, now here's another one. So later this month, and I don't remember the day, but we've got Frank coming on, and Frank Burrell is going to come on and talk to us about down payment assistance. So you may only need to come out with like 2% out of your pocket, maybe 1%. Hey, Libby, it's good to see you there. Glad to see you joining us. So we're going to talk to Frank, and I don't remember what day he's coming in, but I think it's right around the 20th of the month, give or take. But down payment assistance. There are some down payment assistance programs out there. And, the 26th. Thanks, Josh. So the 26th, we're going to do a show talking about down payment assistance. So even if you're in California looking at that $1.2 million loan amount, you might be able to get down payment assistance and only need to come in with 2%. Think about 2% on a down payment assistance program. If my math is right, that's about $24,000 to get a home that's worth $1.25 million. Number 3, I'll have to do it all on my own. This is one of the biggest myths. The reality is there are thousands of down payment assistance programs out there, and the same poll from Morning Consult and NeighborWorks shows 39% of people don't even know about them. That means a lot of potential home buyers could already be closer to home ownership. They just don't realize it. These assistance programs are designed to help people like you who are ready to own a home, but just need a little support getting started. As Mickey Adams, president at CBC Mortgage Agency, explains, with high interest rates and soaring home prices, down payment assistance is more essential than ever. Bottom line, if you've been putting off buying a home because the down payment feels like too much to tackle, let's talk. You may not need as much as you think, and there are plenty of resources out there, so you don't have to do it alone. You just need to have an expert point you in the right direction. If down payment wasn't holding you back, would you be ready to start your home search? If so, go and fill out our mini app, rsrlings.com/Sora, rsrlings.com/Sora, S-O-R-A. It'll give us a soft pull of your credit to know where you stand there. It'll let us see what some of your liabilities look like to see where you stand there. And you might be in some good shape to tackle some of those issues. Again, rsrlings.com/Sora. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So let's take a look at, I think we got time for a Borrow Smart segment brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com, the all-in-one loan. It is one of my favorites, 25 smart ways to save money in 2025. Here's a question that might surprise you. What if I told you that the difference between struggling financially and building real wealth isn't about how much you make, but about what you do with what you already have? I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. Today, I want to share 25 practical ways to save money in 2025 and that go way beyond just spend less money. Let me start with something most people get backwards. They think budgeting means restriction, but a real budget, it's actually about giving every dollar a job before you spend it. I call this a zero-based budget. Every dollar of income gets assigned to bills, saving, or fund money. Bills, savings, or fund money. You're not restricting yourself. You're being intentional. Here's a story. Client came to us frustrated because she felt like money was just disappearing from her account. Sound familiar? We had her track every dollar for just 1 month. Turns out she was spending $847 on subscriptions. Yikes. And services she'd forgotten about, streaming services, apps, gym memberships. She never used, almost $850 a month. That's over $10,000 a year. So what does this mean for you? Start with the obvious stuff. Audit those subscriptions quarterly. If you haven't used something in 30 days, cancel it. But don't stop there. Let's talk about something that really moves the needle, your household blended interest rate. Most people focus on individual rates, but what matters is cash flow, impact on your household budget. Maybe you're spending 6.5% on your mortgage, but 24% on credit cards. A balanced transfer to 0% card could free up hundreds of dollars monthly, even if your mortgage rate stays the same. Strategy beats rate always. Now, here are some quick wins that add up fast. Automatic savings. Set up transfers right after payday. Out of sight, out of mind. Growing automatically. Use a high-yield savings account, earning at least 4% instead of letting money sit in checking, earning nothing. Negotiate your recurring bills. Call cable, internet, insurance providers. Loyalty often pays off if you just ask. Here's one people don't think about: meal planning. I had another client who was spending $1,200 a month on takeout and groceries. We implemented simple meal planning and batch cooking. Her food costs dropped to $600 monthly. That's $7,200 back in her pocket annually. But let's get strategic about the bigger picture. If you're trying to save for a down payment, don't just say save more money. Set a clear goal. Save $15,000 for a down payment by December 31st, 2025. Time-bound goals work because your brain knows exactly what success looks like. And remember, we evaluate everything through safety, liquidity, and return. Your emergency fund needs to be safe and liquid. Start with $1,000, then work toward 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. This safety net prevents you from going into high-interest debt when surprises happen. Now, some of you might be thinking, Ron, this sounds too good to be true. Here's the thing. Small changes compound. Saving $200 a month through subscription cuts, meal planning, and bill negotiation equals $2,400 yearly. Do that for 5 years while earning 4% in a high-yield account, and you're looking at over $13,000. That math works because we're being strategic, not just hopeful. Bottom line, whether you're tackling debt, building a down payment fund, or boosting your financial cushion, remember that strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. It's not about making more money. It's about being intentional with what you already have. For more strategies like these and to see how strategic debt management can help you build wealth, go to ronsiegelradio.com. ronsiegelradio.com. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by gethomeselect.com. gethomeselect.com. So let's take a look and see if, when you talk about getting strategic, debt consolidation is a big issue right now. And we've got a lot of people that are looking at that because we've told you interest rates are going to come down. Are you taking advantage of it? Start looking at the two-step, rsrlinks.com/two-step, rsrlinks.com/two-step. What is two-step? You're going to go and do a debt consolidation loan right now. We don't care about the interest rate. In fact, we might even use a higher rate than normal to minimize your fees. Then what we're going to do is we're going to strategically pay down your debt. We're going to show you how to continue paying it strategically when you go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. The second step, we're going to do a rate and term refi. We're going to do that 6 to 12 months out when rates are strategically better for you. rsrlinks.com/two-step. That's the second step, is doing that strategic refinance, restructuring that home loan to save you money. Because remember, strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. I repeat it to you because we need to make sure that it gets through. And as always, that is, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, 3 advantages to buying a newly built home today. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number one on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. What if I told you that in today's challenging housing market, there's a type of home that could actually save you money, give you more choices, and get you a better interest rate? You might think I'm crazy, but stick with me for the next few minutes. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's what most people don't realize about today's market. While everyone's fighting over the same handful of existing homes, there's a whole category they're completely ignoring: new construction homes. And right now, they offer three distinct advantages that could change your entire home buying strategy. Let me share what happened with a client of mine just last month. She's been looking for 6 months, getting outbid on every existing home. Frustration doesn't even begin to describe it. Then we shifted our focus to new builds and everything changed. Advantage number one, you actually have more options. Here's a number that might surprise you. Roughly 1 in 5 homes on the market right now are new construction. That's 20% more inventory than most buyers are even considering. While everyone else is fighting over that same 4-bedroom colonial that's been on the market for three days, they're looking at homes that might sit there for weeks. Think about it this way. When you're looking at existing homes, you're shopping in a store where 80% of the merchandise is picked over. Why would you limit yourself like that? Advantage number two, you could actually pay less. Now, this is one really gets people's attention. With more new homes on the market, builders are motivated to sell them. Some are dropping their prices to draw in buyers, and that works in your favor. Just this July, 38% of builders cut their prices. Let me repeat that. More than 1 in 3 builders reduced their asking price. When's the last time you heard about existing home sellers doing that in bulk? My client I mentioned earlier, she ended up paying $15,000 less than the builder's original asking price, plus got $10,000 in upgrades thrown in. Try negotiating that on a 20-year-old house with 3 other offers. Advantage number 3, you may get a lower mortgage rate. Here's where it gets really interesting from a strategic debt management perspective. People who buy newly built homes tend to get rates around 0.5% lower than those buying existing homes. 0.5% might not sound like much, but on a $400,000 mortgage, that's about $120 less per month. That's $1,440 per year staying in your household budget instead of going to the bank. But here's the thing most people miss, and this is where strategy beats rate always. It's not just about the mortgage rate. It's about your household blended interest rate. When you factor in the lower purchase price, the potential upgrades, and better financing terms, new construction can significantly improve your overall financial position. So what does this mean for you? If you've been struggling in this market, getting outbid, feeling frustrated, maybe it's time to look at what everyone else is overlooking. I work with builders throughout Orange County who are ready to make deals happen. If you want to see what new construction options are available in your area, let's talk. Visit ronsiegelradio.com or call and mention this segment. Remember, in today's market, strategy beats rate always. Sometimes the best strategy is simply looking where others are not. And I will share with you one other strategy. When you're going to the builders, make sure you either bring your real estate agent with you, don't give him your real name, or tell him you're being represented by John Jones Realtor. That way they can protect you. And make sure that you have your buyer pass with you. It should be right there in your Apple Wallet. No one told you about a buyer pass? It's part of our certified buyer program. If you haven't been certified, you're missing out. You're doing things the old way. rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. Get that buyer pass. That way it's simple. You just go to your Apple Wallet or Google Play Wallet. I don't even know what they call it on Google. Josh, we should figure that out so I know what I'm talking about. But I know I'm an iPhone guy. So you go to your Apple Wallet, you show it to them and say, I'm pre-certified, and I've got a buyer broker agreement right here. It's in my Apple Wallet as well. Google Wallet. Boy, that's tough to remember, isn't it? Even I should be able to remember that one. So your Apple Wallet or your Google Wallet goes right in there. You open it up, have the agent that's there scan the QR code. They can see all that information. They've got your agent's name and address, the whole 9 yards. It's all right there for you. So just take advantage of that. If you don't have an agent, we can help you with that. We've got a list of all the agents that are doing business around the country, and most all of them. We have a report card on them all. All you have to do is just give us a call. We'll take care of that for you as well. Real-time real estate brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And once again, as I shared with you before, you need to be looking at, get the credit tips, rsrlinks.com/credit tips. We've got that out. They've got a pamphlet for you there. I'll probably be coming out with a new book on that, not too distant future. You can take a look at that. You can go to the Home Buyer's Guide, rsrlinks.com/HBG, rsrlinks.com/HBG. You'll get the Home Buyer's Guide. And we got all these things for you. If you want to know what your market looks like where you're shopping, very simple, rsrlinks.com/market report, rsrlinks.com/market report. Got every zip code in there. Gives you some stats about, is it a buyer's market, seller's market, balanced market? What's the median price? What are the prices in your price range? Are they going up? Are they going down? What's it all look like? All of that we give you for free so that you're going out there in an educated manner. I just throw that out there for you. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.